Did you know our podcast is also available over on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, and Radio Public? All great ways to listen to Lore of the Ring on the go. Those uploads are also sponsored, so listening over there is a great way to support the show as well. Links are in the description. Hello, welcome to Lore of the Ring, where I describe wrestling lore to my co-host. I'm Dan.
I'm Daphne.
And I was really racking my brain on what to talk about this episode, and then it kind of hit me that we've talked about the foreign heel kind of a lot, but we haven't talked about the inverse of that. The American hero gimmick and kind of like the jingoistic attitudes that are kind of pervasive in wrestling.
Imperialism, my favorite.
Okay. So the clearest example of this type of character, the American hero type character, is Hulk Hogan. Whose most iconic theme song features the lyrics, "I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life." Which, could be interpreted in a favorable way as fighting for human rights and what is morally right are the traits of what is, quote, a real American. But I think the intent is just being American means that you're doing these things by default, which is incorrect.
Yeah, no, that's usually what people mean by that. It's about, defending capitalism. There's that. That's a very American pursuit. Oh boy. Yeah, I know Hulk Hogan is one of those types of characters. I only know of a couple others though.
Yeah, there are a couple. I'll go over a couple. There's a little bit more I want to talk about Hogan. It's very funny to me that when he switched to a more villainous persona when he joined the NWO, is that they switched his theme to something that's totally the opposite end, is that it's Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, God.
Who, is the opposite of that. Like, outspoken critic of America. I think most people know what he did with the national anthem.
Fucking improved it beyond all recognition, yeah.
It is worth noting that Hogan continued to use that song when he switched back to being a good guy for a little bit, because it's a good song. But currently he's back to using Real American.
Well, it also makes me think of, like, politicians who will play songs at their rallies and not realize the messages are anti-them. Like when people were surprised to learn that Rage Against the Machine was apparently a very political band. These are not my words. I obviously knew this. But there were politicians using their songs. It doesn't surprise me one tiny little bit that Hogan would have kept using a Hendrix song, just not understanding what was going on there.
Yeah. So another fun thing with Hogan is a gimmick he did in 2003, where he wrestled under the name Mr. America.
Okay.
So in storyline, Vince fired Hogan after Hogan beat him at WrestleMania 19 in a very bloody street fight. They both bled heavily in this match.
What? Like, was this real blood? I'm still never clear on when blood is real.
Blood is always real. I haven't talked about this. There's a process called blading. That's where
I do know what blading is. I don't want to go into too many details because that's going to put me in a place. Yeah. But I do. Okay. I wasn't sure how prevalent that was, or if that was always the thing that is done to make that happen.
Yeah. So it's usually before you notice a big blood spot. You'll notice either the referee checks on them and hands them a blade, or you'll notice that this wrestler has wrist tape on, and that's where they're hiding the blade. Because there's a spot in the forehead that you'll bleed heavily, but it doesn't do lasting damage when you do it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Although I believe in this match, or either one of the promos of this match, Vince stabbed Hogan repeatedly in the forehead with a pen, which is what caused the blood.
Jeez.
So anyway, Hogan was fired in storyline, and then Vince's daughter, Stephanie, hired new hire, Mr. America, and I will show you an image.
I'm afraid to look at. Oh God. Come on.
So the mustache is visible. He's using the Real American theme. After his debut, Vince comes out and accuses Mr. America of being Hulk Hogan. to which Mr. America responded, "I'm not Hulk Hogan, brother."
As one does when being accused of Hulk Hoganism.
So a lot of retrospectives kind of treat this like it was an actual mystery of who's Mr. America, that it was like genuine by the storyline. But it's very clearly, if you watch clips, it's an extended bit. That everyone's acting like, oh, I don't know who Mr. America is, and Vince is getting progressively angrier.
I'm just, the only thing in my brain right now is, are you now or have you ever been Hulk Hogan? And it's just gonna live in my head forever.
What were you gonna say?
I don't know where to. It's really interesting to me that that this was done at least partially ironically, because I could absolutely see it going either way. But I love that everybody knows exactly who this is angle, and we're just kind of pretending that we don't.
And only
that's
Vince.
Always my favorite way for that to go.
At one point, they do hook Vince up to a lie. Vince hooks Hogan up to a lie detector in the middle of the ring, and asks him point blank if he's Hulk Hogan. And through either the power of Hulkamania, America, or both, Mr. America says he isn't Hulk Hogan and passes the lie detector test.
As one does.
It's an extremely funny bit. That ended just kind of abruptly because Hogan left the company I guess they didn't know what to do with it. Just we're like, I don't know where else to go with this bit.
Yeah.
Because Hogan cites frustration with the creative team at WWE. So my guess is like, when's am I going to get to take off the mask? And they're like, I don't know. We're just going to keep doing the bit for a little bit. Other examples of this American hero gimmick include wrestler Lex Luger, who was a heel, but when Hogan left for WCW, they tried to push Lex Luger in that position because he was similarly fit and also blonde and similar, and just wasn't but he did not have the charisma to carry that role.
Yeah.
John Cena, even though his character was that of a rapper, which has like inherently like countercultural roots, as he was becoming more the face of the company, they put him in a movie called The Marine, which is like a typical action movie. His girlfriend gets kidnapped, and because he's a boyfriend with a special set of skills that lets him rescue her, just with the added flavor that he has the skills because he was a Marine. Now, I don't know if this movie was intentionally recruitment propaganda. It could be. I don't know.
I mean, who's to say for sure?
Yeah, the most fun fact I know is that when it was being scripted out, they had the intention of casting Al Pacino as the main villain, when in the final film it's Robert Patrick or the T-1000, and Cena's role was originally intended for Stone Cold Steve Austin, which reads to me like it's directed at older audiences, like probably people in their 20s, where Stone Cold could have been their favorite when they were growing up.
Yeah.
So prime recruitment age, but them casting John Cena sure got 9-year-old me in the movie theater.
Oh no.
I was kind of bored, but I liked when Cena was on screen.
Oh yeah, for sure. That tracks.
But they had Cena add a salute to his entrance when he would come out, where he would stop his like high energy like to the crowd, and then he'd just stop and salute, and then leans into that jingoism a bit. Not to say there aren't inversions of this gimmick where they play the villain. They definitely are, like JBL, and how they had a point in the gimmick where he had a promo where he was down by the border looking for illegal immigrants when he was feuding with Eddie Guerrero.
God.
Which, like most things from the 2000s, aged like milk. But there are also hints of this in his gimmick of him only liking America because it's convenient for him. there was an incident with JBL when the WWE went to Germany, where he threw up a Sieg Heil salute and goose stepped around the ring.
Jeez.
He did not know that was illegal to do in Germany.
I forgot.
He was arrested.
Yeah, like you would be. Holy shit.
WWE explained that they didn't know.
Oh my god.
I haven't seen any reports of him being back in Germany, which is extremely funny to me.
He might not be allowed back.
JBL banned from country. Some say Kurt Angle's an inversion of it because he played like an American Olympic hero and was normally a villain. Mm-hmm. They did turn him babyface after 9/11 happened and immediately put the WWE title on him. So,
naturally. So
that's not like 100% willing to commit to the guy in the American flag outfit being the villain.
Yeah.
This is definitely reflective of some in-company politics and Vince's personal stances. When Vince went to Chris Jericho and told him he couldn't be billed out of Winnipeg anymore.
Oh, God.
Quote from Jericho: "In the mid-2000s, Vince McMahon decided that you couldn't be from Canada and be a babyface in the WWE for whatever reason. Quote, no one would cheer a Canadian was his mindset. I'm not kidding. I was told that you can't be from Winnipeg anymore. You're from Tampa. I only live in Tampa. I'm not from there. Where were you born? Manhasset? It sounds too country. You're from Manhattan, New York now."
Dear God. I'm preemptively, I apologize for the tangent that this just set me on. But these weird McMahonisms, like, you can't be a babyface if you're from Canada, and no one's gonna think a pirate is a good guy. It makes me think of the children's books that were like, werewolves don't play basketball and Dracula doesn't surf.
Batman doesn't eat pussy.
Yeah, that's my favorite children's book. And so just the idea of doing those, but it's just McMahon's nonsense aphorisms is really entertaining to me, and I just needed to put that out in the universe.
That might be the first Lord of the Ring merch, is just a t-shirt with that as a book cover.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Jericho goes on to say, there was a bunch of us that were Canadian. Edge, Christian, Val Venus, a bunch of other guys. He just decided one time you can't be babyface and be from Canada. For people to really cheer you, you'd have to be from the United States. It probably lasted about 6 months.
God.
This is
So former vampire Edge became former Canadian Edge.
Oh, it's really funny.
I'm done, I promise.
So now I'm going to pivot to a wrestler who had jingoism baked into his gimmick, and in what they would do with him, it would turn out to be genuinely dangerous.
Oh, God.
Have you heard the name Sergeant Slaughter before?
Yeah, I have. Oh, God. I have heard that name before. I don't have a lot to connect it to, but it's definitely floating around in my brain for some reason.
Okay, so
there's a G.I. Joe, I think, with that name or something?
We'll get to that.
Oh God.
I'm very excited.
Okay.
Oh,
God.
So his gimmick is basically he's a former U.S. Marine who served in the Vietnam War and is currently a drill sergeant.
Okay.
This has caused controversy multiple times because the person portraying Slaughter, Robert Rudolph Remus, which sounds like a comic book character name,
it really does.
Never served in the military. So sometimes he's talked about active combat and he's out of character. So
oh, dear God.
He's been accused of stealing valor multiple times.
I was just gonna say that's where that phrase comes from.
Yep. So like many others, he started his American hero turn against Iron Sheik, defending, quote, America's honor. They had a long series of matches, long feud, and it eventually led to him being the second most popular wrestler in the company at the time he left, surpassing Andre the Giant and Jimmy Snuka. He was fired possibly for 2 reasons. First is that Vince refused to give him his 6 weeks paid vacation, which led to Slaughter no-showing a set of events. The other is a dispute with another company, which we're about to talk about. So you mentioned G.I. Joe.
I did.
He became a character on G.I. Joe, and that's what the dispute was about whether or not he could bring that character there.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to pull up the clip of it, and we're going to watch it in the Watch Together room, because it shows just how much he is not a voice actor.
God, he did the voice himself.
Yep.
Well, it's going to be, I've literally never seen any of G.I. Joe ever, except for, like, those old YouTube videos where people just, like, dubbed over with nonsense. So this is going to be an experience no matter what happens.
Yep. I think this is Sergeant Slaughter's YouTube channel. It only has 500 subscribers, which I think is very funny. Because he posts videos...
We're coming after you, Sergeant Slaughter.
He posts videos directly to it a lot. Announcing he's on Cameo and stuff like that.
Oh gosh.
So just that the fact that his delivery is completely different from anyone else's.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Dragon Ball dub, where it was dubbed by all like Shakespearean theatrically trained people, and it doesn't sound the way it's supposed to at all.
I think I have to hear this at some point.
I will definitely show it to you. I think you may have heard it. It's called the Big Green dub.
Maybe? That sounds maybe familiar. God, I love that they introduced him by having him take out like 30 people single-handedly. God.
Like that he just has no indoor voice.
It's like when you watch an animated series that's making a joke about bad voice acting, like it's supposed to be bad on purpose.
Just the way he talks.
He's just at the other end of the room. He's not even near the mic. He's just that loud.
Gotta hurry. It expires July 31st, 1987.
Expires, 7 months before I was born, this offer expired.
Jesus Christ.
I'm old, Dan.
No, I mean, I was just saying, like, this predates you.
Yeah, I really missed out. I could have had a free action figure.
You couldn't just buy it. You had to search out the coupons.
God.
It's just really funny how he talks.
He sounds like Sherman Helmsley's character from Dinosaurs.
Oh my god.
He sounds like BP Richfield.
You can tell when like a little bit of spit lands on the mic.
Oh, you can hear the spit. Oh, his voice is so juicy. I swear he's making my throat feel congested the more I listen to him talk.
It sounds like he doesn't know how to talk, like the way his inflections land.
He's reading a teleprompter, but he's learning the words as he reads them. Not perfect, but better.
Oh my god. I was hoping I could find a PSA, like the parody voice with the Slaughter character. I couldn't find one.
God. I'm still stuck on the he sounds like Sherman Helmsley thing. It's etched into my... It's uncanny.
That's a shitty toy, too.
What a terrible looking toy! I love that the one arm is articulated kind of like he's leaning against a fence or a desk or something, just arm kind of tucked up near his stomach. Like,
yeah, God.
That's an action pose if I've ever seen one.
He's mostly chin.
Yeah. Chin is all you need when you're a real American.
Why does Snake Eyes have to participate in this?
Yeah, why is he even there?
Why would a ninja have to train like typical soldiers?
Yeah, is he... I don't know these characters. Is he an American? Is this... I don't know anything about Snake Eyes. Is he even supposed to be on this base?
I don't know. I have very limited knowledge about G.I. Joe, outside of Baby's first military propaganda.
Oh, well, yeah. We're going to have to... I mean, I guess that's the next podcast, is someone explains G.I. Joe to you and me.
I think it's in canon with Transformers. I think it is.
Oh, I hate that thought.
I think...
I don't know why I hate that, but I do.
I think most Hasbro properties are in canon with each other in some way. Like, I think... So, I know Transformers and G.I. Joe crossed over. I know Transformers and Power Rangers is going to be inevitable.
Oh yeah. Transformers and My Little Pony has already been a thing.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm surprised there hasn't been Transformers Power Rangers already. I'm pretty sure they've made transforming toys, like there are Power Ranger Transformers toys, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think they've had Tommy Oliver hang out with Optimus Prime yet.
God, well, they were trying to get a Hasbro Cinematic Universe started in like 2019. Maybe if that hadn't fallen through,
God,
you could have gotten your wish.
I mean, it's not my way, and they just acquired Power Rangers. I don't know what their plan is. They're like,
it's your wish now.
I don't know. I'm still coping with the fact that some people are attracted to some of the Transformers. I'm still kind of coping with that.
Yeah, I'm just not into machines in general, so I'm just like, yeah, I don't get that one, but have fun.
I think of the My Strange Addiction episode where someone's dating their car.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, huh? Well, I mean, you're dating a car that has a lot more like emotional depth. They're better listeners, I would assume. I'm assuming they have like more steady careers because they're out like saving the world and stuff.
Yeah, but they all have names like Good Boy and Death Shitter.
Listen, Death Shitter's my favorite Transformers character. He should have led the Predacons like 2 seasons before he even got a chance to try. Oh my god.
So we went on a whole Hasbro tangent.
God, we did. I'm sorry. We have to get off of it because I'm already like, what would Death Shitter's like vehicle and animal forms be? And I don't want to go down this road.
God. Well, we're gonna come
he's
back
an
to
anteater.
It is an anteater.
Yep, he's an anteater.
But he's got like teeth in the nose part, and it like spins really fast, and he tries to shove Bumblebee's head in there.
Holy shit! Wait, this is cool all of a sudden.
I think that betrays the thing about the bad ones being dinosaurs, though. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Well, maybe maybe you can be an anti-hero one, like how Starscream was in that one anime.
An anti-hero?
Oh my god.
Well, okay, no. So there actually is. I don't know why this is a thing that I know. I know that there was is Battle Beasts a separate thing from Transformers? There was like an anteater or something like that, and he was like a robot anteater dude. And I think he might have been a Transformer. But to clarify your point, yeah, I know the Predacons are mostly they were all predatory animals. They were usually dinosaurs. Some of them were insects. Later on, they recruited like a half scorpion, half rattlesnake, and they had a big sand crab named Ravage. It was really cool. It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So like a lot of Transformers things, it looks like it was its own thing in Japan, and then it was added to Transformers by Hasbro.
That explains everything. Okay. All right. Okay.
So
I'm so sorry I took this place.
I enjoyed that tangent. I can't wait for the first Death Shitter fan art. People are going to come thinking like, is this a Transformers podcast? No. I'm so sorry.
No, it's not.
But yeah, this is where these...
Episode 13, Death
This is where the second reason he could have gotten fired was that WWE didn't want him to take the character over to G.I. Joe. Even though I think there's a big benefit for having crossover appeal in wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, was there like any kind of... I know there used to be more legal ramifications around, that was part of the backlash against toy shows like that were designed just to sell action figures. So I wonder if there was something about how you couldn't use like... I'm wondering about the like cross promotion and if there was any concerns about monopolies there, or if there was a weird moral panic about that, like there was with toy commercial shows. I don't know.
From what I read, it was that Vince was like, I don't want you to use the character. And Slaughter was like, I'm going to use the character. Like, it's like Vince wanted it to be strictly a wrestling thing.
Okay.
It's in kind of the same way how Vince's father told Hogan not to be in Rocky 3, and Hogan said, fuck you, and then was in Rocky 3.
Yeah.
One of the few good decisions Hulk Hogan ever made.
That might be the only one.
So... basically, after seeing WrestleMania 6, which is known for being a very big moment where Hogan fought the Ultimate Warrior, we'll probably do an episode on that because that's a long storyline. Sergeant Slaughter sent a letter to McMahon, which is a very old-fashioned phrase.
Yeah, God, yeah, it is.
Saying he loved the show and he wanted to come back. McMahon contacted him and said that, yeah, he's interested in bringing him back, but he has to be a bad guy. And that he had to be now anti-American, which is something Slaughter found difficult. This reads to me like classic Vince punishing his talent.
Yeah.
Because making him a villain ruins any toyetic quality he had as being a G.I. Joe. So that like screwed up any chance of him being a G.I. Joe after that.
That's so odd to me because all my toys were the villains that I thought were cool when I was little.
Yeah, but it's like they would have had to switch him over to Cobra, and it would have to like justify it in the storyline. Like, why would a Joe turn bad?
Oh, I see. Okay, that's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah, so the first idea they had was that he was going to have like come back and turn his back on America because he grew a friendship. Actually, I know I misread this. Is that the crowd started to like Nikolai Volkov, who was the Russian communist character. So they were going to flip it and be like, well, now Slaughter's the bad guy because he hates Volkov more than he likes America, was going to basically be the thing.
Gosh.
However, this was 1990, and Iraq soon invaded Kuwait, which are the beginning of the events that lead to the Gulf War.
Yeah.
So they turned Slaughter into an Iraqi sympathizer, but not for any political reasons, but because he said he liked the brutality of the Iraqi government and thought the U.S. was soft and weak, so it still manages to be U.S. propaganda, despite him being the villain.
God.
He teamed with wrestler, I'm going to mess up, because it's a long name, I'm going to mess up at least one pronunciation, I'm very sorry. Adnan bin Abdul Karim Ahmed Al-Kasi El-Farthi, who was an Iraq-born wrestler who Slaughter had many feuds with outside of the WWE. Here he was just under the name General Adnan, and in storyline he was a general in the Iraq military. So fun fact, according to Adnan's Wikipedia page, he went to school with Saddam Hussein. I promise that's going to be relevant.
Oh God. That's a threat.
So then they entered a feud with Nikolai Volkov. Again, now he's siding with America, despite being long history of being a communist Russian. Slaughter then took to wearing Arab headdresses during his entrance. And then later, in storyline, he was photographed with Saddam Hussein. It's very obviously now it's a manipulated photograph, because if he did actually meet Saddam Hussein, there's a non-zero chance in my mind the CIA would have made Slaughter kill him.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus.
However, because it was the 90s and no one was adept at finding manipulated images yet, plenty of people thought it was real and that Slaughter was really an Iraqi sympathizer, leading him to start receiving death threats and bomb threats, some left directly at the WWE office.
Jeez Louise.
This led to him having to be escorted around by WWE security 24/7 and him having to take to wearing a bulletproof vest.
Wow. This is not the direction I thought this was going to go in.
It's like I'm saying, this is bad timeline version of...
Yeah.
Because it was only like, this is like one of the few cases where it's like, you're an American character, and then they were like, well, we have to invert it by going the other way now. Which now seems like a bad idea. Slaughter, after this, would beat the Ultimate Warrior for the WWE Championship after the Macho King Randy Savage hit the Ultimate Warrior on the head with his royal scepter. Which...
That was words you just said to me.
Yep. This led to Hogan. First, I want to go back to... I want to paint the image for you.
Okay.
it's a military guy wearing like a Iraqi soldier uniform, but with distinctly American camo added in, defeating a distinctly white man wearing something that is almost a parody of what the cultural image of a Native American warrior is, crossed with a hairband after that person was beaten unconscious by a king with their royal scepter.
Dear God.
This is wrestling.
Yeah.
So Hogan won the Royal Rumble that night too. So he challenged Slaughter for the title at WrestleMania. In the lead up to this, Vince asked Sergeant Slaughter to burn an American flag on TV. Slaughter refused to do this and instead suggested they burn Hulk Hogan's shirt instead. In the speech he makes prior before burning it, there are points where you can tell they only changed the planned speech a little bit for it being about the flag. They only a little bit. I personally think it was a good idea for them not to burn it, not for any moral reasons, but because Slaughter was already receiving death threats, and I guarantee he would be murdered.
Oh, 100%.
We're gonna watch the speech because I think it's very funny.
Good. I was about to ask about that because I'm enjoying the idea that they just kind of found and replaced flag with shirt when they changed the speech. So you have like people talking about saluting the shirt and pledging allegiance to it and stuff, and we're just like, wait, what?
Pledge allegiance to the shirt.
Yeah, who doesn't?
They did that first.
Oh, he looks so upset in this poster.
I'm in the poster, brother! Save me!
There's no Hulkamaniacs in this poster.
Oh, it's like Page Master. He got sucked into the poster.
God, that explains everything.
Here's my question. If they knew... This is not this character's first appearance. They are well aware his Hammond character doesn't speak English. Why did they show him the microphone first?
Why did they give him the mic? You know, the cartoon Sergeant Slaughter was all chin, and I thought that was an exaggeration, but holy shit. This guy's face is like 40% chin. Sick burn.
Vince saying the Hogan is American tradition.
What does that even mean?
He can barely talk over them.
They're so loud.
What the fuck is that plush?
I've seen those before. I knew a kid that owned one of those. What were they called? They weren't called Wrestle Buddies, were they?
I don't know. They still sell them.
They do.
So it's very clear they only changed it a little bit.
It's so blatant. I'm kind of impressed at how obvious it is. Also, I did discover these are called Wrestling Buddies, and I found a wonderful picture that I have to show you.
Oh my god.
I've never seen plush Hulk Hogan looking so distraught.
Help me, brother! My soul is trapped in the machine!
There's no Hulkamaniacs here.
Oh, fuck.
That phrase is burned into my head for the rest of eternity.
So, of course, at WrestleMania, Hogan wins.
Of course. God, of course he
did. That state, they would have rushed the stage if he lost.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the end of the feud. They kept it going 6 more months until SummerSlam. The day after WrestleMania, Slaughter introduces the new member of his team, Colonel Mustafa, who was just the Iron Sheik. It is this.
Oh, that's right.
It's the same man. Now, I don't know why they changed his name for this, being that it still falls in with Sheik's gimmick of hating America. Despite Sheik being Iranian and not being from Iraq, and those countries not often having the best relationship. But it's always been like a thing with Sheik of like, if someone just dislikes America, hey, they're good.
Yeah, no, basically.
It's
we have that in common.
The depth, it kind of stops there, even if there is
Yeah.
a complex political relationship between Iran and Iraq.
It's fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We got bigger problems.
We got 50 states worth of problems.
50 states of beef.
Oh God.
Oh man, that's a pay-per-view event title right there.
Oh my God. My guess is that they all saw how toxic this storyline was, and they didn't want to ruin the image Sheik had, despite, you know, him still having like kind of the same thing. But even most retrospectives rarely call attention to the fact that Sheik was Colonel Mustafa. They refer to him like he's a different character.
God.
So the feud ended at SummerSlam, with, of course, Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, who teamed back up with Hogan, coming out on top. They immediately transitioned Slaughter back to being an American hero, with vignettes and promos in front of him of monuments saying he wants his country back, much like Macho Man wanted his wife back and Hogan wouldn't tell him. My guess is that a year of death threats was a bit too much.
Probably.
And he immediately transitioned into a feud with Sheik, which is just what you do.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the end of this portion. What are your kind of thoughts on this?
Well, geez Louise, where do I start unpacking any of this? It's really, sometimes I forget what a weird place America entered, like, post 9/11, when, you know, people were concerned about showing any damage to large buildings in their films, or the weird patriotic character turns. Like, I can't remember what it was called, but Marvel Comics released that trade paperback of, like, really patriotic Marvel character comics, and like comic artists responding with or voicing their feelings about 9/11. It's that one that has that panel of Doctor Doom, the Kingpin, and Magneto like in tears as they look at the wreckage of the World Trade Center. Like it's so bizarre. And so I guess
I like on that panel I can buy Kingpin. Yeah. He lives in New York.
Yeah.
He's cruel to people he doesn't like, but he doesn't lack general empathy.
Yeah.
Magneto, he doesn't lack general empathy either, but he does generally hate humans, but I'm sure he could rationalize it being like bad, like there might have been mutants in there.
Well, that and it was I think a big part of it for Magneto was they were going with the whole this reminds me of the Holocaust thing for Magneto, because that's an appropriate comparison to make.
That's I didn't even realize they were doing that.
Yeah.
The Doctor Doom one.
The Doctor Doom one is so good.
It doesn't make sense to me.
No, but see, they have this close-up where you can see through his mask that there are tears in his eyes, and there's a little narration that says that even the worst of us are still human, still mourn the random death of innocence. Like, no, Dr. Doom is totally into that shit. Like, what?
Like, it's very clear he has empathy for the people of Latveria, and that's...
Yeah, he cares about Latveria, but...
Anyone outside of that, fuck him.
Yeah, no, basically, Doom is mad because he didn't think of this first, is the only characterization I can give him here. It's ridiculous. Like, they're literally standing in the wreckage. Dr. Octopus and Juggernaut are in the background. There's, like, firefighters lined up heroically. And I guess I think there's a big splash page of, like, heroes and villains cleaning up the rubble together, if I remember right. All of which is to say that, when this went down, I was homeschooled enough that a lot of the larger pop culture elements of the reactions to 9/11 didn't really get to me. So, like, I would not have seen anything wrestling related. I wouldn't have seen a lot of the movies that reacted to it in some ways. So I just didn't have any idea outside of this bizarre little comic book oddity. It never occurred to me to think about, wrestling absolutely would have played on ultra-patriotism, not just post 9/11, but after military debacles involving the US and other countries, after political upheaval and all kinds of stuff. And I guess just because I'm used to there only being like, I'm aware how stupid this sentence sounds, but you know how you kind of assume there's only one Captain America at a time, which is typically not true in comic books.
And then now there's like 10.
Yeah, now there's like 19 of them, and they could just be... You could just have 50 individual Captain Americas, and you could do a whole comic run called the United Americas or something. Like, it'd be so easy to do. But all of this is to say that had you not told me, I would never have assumed that wrestling was doing multiple super patriotic characters, like sometimes at once, or that they would keep coming back to this. My thought would be you do the one, you do that storyline and it plays out and then it's over. But no, this keeps coming back and keeps being revamped, and it just is a recurring thing. And I don't know why it still surprises me when you get to those weird theatrically patriotic places. For some reason I still don't expect it, which I guess is just my naivety showing. So this is one of those where I literally would not have guessed at it being a thing had you not told me.
Yeah, like 9/11 did have, like, you could say that has a profound effect on everything, so obviously it's on wrestling. Thing a lot of people bring up when 9/11 and wrestling is mentioned is that an episode of Raw was the first major gathering to occur in America after 9/11, because everything was canceled. But Vince, being Vince, had the attitude, it was like, no, if we are scared, they win.
Yeah, everybody had that attitude. It was ridiculous.
But he had the one...
I saw that everywhere.
He had the attitude of, even like in the days following where people are worried about follow-up attacks, because that's still a genuine fear.
Yeah.
He was like, no, absolutely. We're doing the full live show right now.
We have to do it.
Vince is a terrible person. I don't think that was from a non-genuine place. Just because like he was there in person too.
Yeah.
He wasn't, like, if he was there remotely, I'd be like, this is clearly him endangering his staff because he wants to make sure he keeps making weekly content and making money. But the fact that he's there, and he's kind of disheveled, feels like it comes from a legitimate place, even though an unhinged place.
Absolutely. It seems sincere, just woefully misguided, which is kind of peak Vince, as I'm learning.
Yeah, I'm looking at Doctor Doom things now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got us on another tangent about that.
Why was he able to lift Thor's hammer?
That's a really good question. Don't worry
about
it. When
it fell into hell, he was able to lift it.
Maybe the rules are different in hell. It's one of those cartoon hells where everyone says, "Oh, bad morning. I hope you're feeling terrible," and so only people who are unworthy can lift Thor's hammer.
Or the hammer just wanted to leave. It was like, pick me up.
Yeah, just get me out of here. Just fucking take me home.
It's like them using Doctor Doom is very misguided.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, it's kind of like after the Pulse shooting when they had fucking Deathstroke give up guns.
Oh my god.
Because, like, I'm fine with, dropping guns from any other character. Like, there are plenty of heroes that use guns. There are, Harley uses guns on occasions. Anyone dropping from them. But Deathstroke, assassin without morals.
Yeah. And that's one of those, like, it's so misguidedly performative because first of all, it doesn't even make sense for the character. And anyone who actually knows about comics, like you pointed out, is gonna notice all of the obvious nonsense inherent in this. But, like, all of the people who are not comic book fans who are told about this as some, like, gesture of support, they're just gonna go, who's Deathstroke?
Yeah, no general population knows who the fuck Deathstroke is.
Yeah! Deathstroke gave up guns after the pull sheet. Like, okay, so now I have 2 questions because I don't know either of these things yet.
And then they'd be like Slade from Teen Titans. He didn't use guns.
Oh, yeah,
he beat the shit out of Robin with his hands. Well, he uses guns in the comics. Well, that's stupid.
What, Orange Deadpool doesn't use guns anymore? What does that mean?
Oh, fuck. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I would fucking buy the Punisher stop using guns over Deathstroke.
I was thinking about that because I was thinking, I was wondering to myself, what villains can you use for this to be, like, reacting to 9/11? And I was like, oh, the Punisher, who is not a villain, but that just, like, I equate him so much with cops that I kind of thought of him as...
Isn't it fucked up? There's a fucking Batman villain that's literally the Punisher, and they don't use him at all.
It's so funny.
Fucking Lockdown.
Yeah.
Like, what's he like in, like, a couple comics and then, like, 1 episode of the animated series?
Yeah, and even in the animated series, I think I remember it being very clear they had no idea what to do with him. He was just a one-off, and then literally no one ever talked about him again in a series that was very heavy on continuity and seemed to pay a lot of attention to long-term character arcs. There was just, no, we don't, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about him anymore. He's gone.
We're gonna see him once. Like, I feel like there's a lot of...
see him once.
Oh my god. Like, I'm just looking at the 9/11, like, superhero stuff.
Yeah. I grabbed you a couple, I have images for you, so I grabbed you the page in question.
So I know Superman's a symbol of hope.
Yeah.
I get that.
That's what the S stands for.
But it fuck. But, like, isn't it, like, especially insulting for 9/11 to still take place in a world where Superman's still an active hero?
Yeah, it's kind of like in that Marvel comic when this lady runs up to Spider-Man after, like, literally the towers have just fallen. There's smoke in the clouds in the streets, and she's like, where were you? Why didn't you stop this? And it's like, he's a 20-year-old college student who was, like, he probably just got back from space. What?
Like, all Marvel characters I can buy being like, well, they had no way of knowing. Superman would have stopped the second plane.
Absolutely.
Like, Spider-Man, what was he gonna fucking do? Oh, he was gonna make a big fucking web.
Spider-Man. Yep, catch the plane with the web. This is gonna solve everyone's
problems. Like, when
problems.
Godzilla showed up in the Marvel comics, Spider-Man didn't even go one-on-one with him. He showed up at the end and took a picture and left.
And he was smart to do so.
Like, Thor has other shit going on.
Yeah, Thor's not going to prioritize, like,
Earth.
American politics or Earth.
Like...
But yeah, no.
Like, all the Marvel characters, like, I can get. Like, Cap has no way of stopping it. Iron Man very could well likely be drunk at this time.
Yeah, God, especially then.
Hulk could just miss the second plane trying to jump into it.
God. Yeah, he could. She-Hulk could also have been drunk around this point, and Captain Marvel would have been probably either suing Tony Stark or trying to hire a new publicist.
God.
Based on her arcs around this time in the 90s, as I recall.
Jesus Christ. But, like...
Yeah.
Like, I can buy Marvel characters not being able to... Except I'm seeing Scarlet Witch in the fucking wide picture. You could have did something about this.
I mean, I guess No More Mutants really took it all out of her.
No more planes.
Man, I can't... No more planes. I can't believe how far afield this tangent has gotten. I'm so sorry,
I'm wondering
everyone.
how much of this I'm gonna have to bleep.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too now, because I'm like, maybe some of this should not be said. But all of that is to say, I would not have imagined how deep this ran. It never occurred to me to think about just how far people could take this archetype that I always think of as being more comedic and silly than sincere or inspirational.
Yeah, like...
It's just weird.
Even with Undertaker, they changed him to being the American badass.
Yeah.
So, even that branding was, like, very centric on that. I think he also started attaching an American flag on his motorcycle when he'd drive out. And I do think like this came from a sincere place. I don't think nationalism is the way to go when mourning. Oh no. I just found out there's a Fantastic Four villain named Jihad.
Oh. That's not great.
When did this? September 2001.
Oh my, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh. This was by... Oh my, holy shit. This was not on purpose. The character Jihad is a little controversial because of its appearance 11 days before the September 11th attacks.
Oh, jeez.
The worst fucking timing in the world.
That timing is inspirationally bad. Holy shit.
That's what he looks like.
You know, I hate him.
My favorite
thing
is that
that's really all I got.
I'm gonna read his facts. Name unknown, current alias Jihad, alias is Sinbad with a question mark. Marital status single.
Oh, that's very important information.
I challenge any monster fuckers that listen to this podcast
to finish your sentence.
No, that's it. I just challenge them. Okay. They know what it means.
Well, I mean...
20,000 pounds!
I'll pass that challenge along.
Identity, secret, occupation, magician/conqueror.
Okay, I mean, I'm glad he's got a hobby.
What the fuck? Sinbad? Question mark.
Sinbad? Like, maybe? Is he Sinbad? Do we know that he's not Sinbad? I guess we can't prove he's not Sinbad.
Because apparently he was in a series called The Fantastic Four Voyage of Sinbad.
Okay.
It's numbered number 1. I don't think they got to do all the ones they meant to.
Probably not.
Jesus Christ. What are the chances?
God, I can't even imagine. It's like that amazing, it's like the Spider-Man movie promo where he actually does catch a helicopter in a big web that he made. And I think it aired in a theater once, and then things happened, and they just pulled it forever.
Like, I kind of get that one, because that, like, movies take months, but comic creators are on a tight time crunch, so, like, they're putting issues together maybe, like, a couple weeks ahead of time, depending on what they can do. The fact that they're like, oh, Jihad, there's no way that can back, because maybe someone just knew that word and it wasn't like that big in the public consciousness at that point, because our issues were with Saddam Hussein in the Middle East, and talking about Jihad was not like a thing we had to worry about.
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm kind of just fucked up right now. 11 days.
Well, I'm glad I could bring us to this point, because I was brought to a point by you, and now we're just both here.
These anti-bullying covers that I just came across, looks like Captain America's gonna beat the shit out of this little kid.
Yeah, no, Captain America is the one bullying these people. What is going on here? Sam Wilson would never have done this.
So, I think if I was getting bullied and a superhero showed up to school, it would be equivalent to my mom showing up. I feel like it'd get, because there's no way of knowing that, like, there's, like, no guarantee that superhero's coming back.
Yeah, it's people just bully you, and then they're like, what are you gonna do, cry to Captain America? Because they know he's in fucking outer space dealing with Galactus or something. I don't want to see that matchup. That would be really stupid, actually.
There's a couple superheroes I can imagine making it a thing to keep coming back every week, or like just watching and just like...
There's a Peter Parker... There's one where Peter Parker does that for a kid, yeah.
I think Deadpool would do it in a very much more threatening way. That Deadpool's like, I'm going to clear my schedule.
Yeah, Deadpool, like, these bullies just start finding, like, katanas embedded in the doors of their lockers every morning.
No cuts.
Yeah. Oh, Miyazaki's bullying these people. I mean, I guess that helps, too.
I guess now that Venom is on a dog and just runs around with Eddie Brock's son, because that's where the comics are at right now. Like, Venom could see someone getting bullied and be like, yeah, that's how I'm handling it.
Basically. Oh, God. Well, I'm glad that we spend all of our time on nothing but wrestling today.
Yep. Look at this.
Yep. Laser focus, that's us. Or laser pointer focus, at least. Why did you make me look at this?
It's so
Why did you inflict this upon me?
Like, I didn't realize it was Chameleon at first, and I'm like...
Oh, it's Chameleon! Okay.
It makes a lot more sense when you realize it was Chameleon and not just a spidered man.
I thought he was like... I was like, how is he squinting that hard? Well, he's wearing a mask, because I am an idiot, and I forgot that's not how masks work.
I thought it was, like, first I'm like, what fucking, like, mutant happened in the comics? You know, the fact that I pointed out a Marvel villain named Jihad came out 11 days before the attacks, that definitely is going to fuel some weird type of conspiracy theory.
I can already visualize the conspiracy board on, I guess, another wall of your room, given how many there already are. God. You're gonna have to clear some space, buddy.
I'm still fucked up that I found out what he was reading as Pepe Sylvia.
God.
I didn't realize it was Pennsylvania.
I don't even watch that show, and I finally got the context for that, like, a year or so ago.
I got boxes full of Pepe.
God.
Oh, fuck. I think we should end it here.
Yeah, I think I am so sorry. This was... I got us off on such a Marvel tangent. Not even Marvel this time. It was DC mostly, and then it was Marvel. It doesn't matter.
We also did Hasbro.
I'm so sorry. We also did Hasbro. God, we were so good. We did like 45 minutes of consistency, and then we just fell down the stairs.
I mean, it's incredibly lucky we didn't start talking about Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl.
I mean, that would date this episode, and you know how timely we like to be.
I mean, we said we'll date it, but then like 2 months from now, I'll be a competitive champion in it whenever it comes out.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to be bitching about Space Jam in 2 episodes anyway, so, like, it's going to happen no matter what we do.
They aren't even in space in this one.
There's nothing space-related in this movie.
It's just super aggravating, because I just fucking read about all the unmade ones that they, like, were pitched.
Oh, I should pitch Space Jam Unmade to some people and see if we can get some audio dramas.
Oh my god.
I won't do that. Don't let me do that. But anyway, everybody go listen to Godzilla Unmade, because I wrote an episode of it and it's good.
Yeah, start demanding a season 2 so I can write one.
Oh god, I would love to do a season 2. I feel like you'd have to... I don't know what we would even do for that, or if I would even write for it again, because I feel like I feel like you could do something where there's different people every season, quote unquote, where different writers do different episodes every time. But I could also see asking people who wrote for it previously back. All of this is to say, for the, 2 people listening that even know what Godzilla Unmade is, none of this has been discussed. We have no plans to bring it back or do it again.
And I think it was said that it was too much work, and someone else would have to edit it in the future.
Yeah, the editing was ridiculous. I don't know how Steven does it, but he really outdid himself, and I think that's why he's been taking a break for a while, which is well-deserved.
Yeah.
But I know there are things he'd want to do differently, and I know that whenever people ask him about doing it again, he's always been like, I don't want to flat out say never, but I really don't plan on it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's either like someone else would have to take on editing it, or we'll have to give it like, that was a lot of work to like, the way it was pumped out so quickly. Like I was like, that was like amazing that how fast it came out, and like how it came out in time for like the Godzilla Con line.
Mm-hmm. It was unreal how well the timing worked out for everything, including just the timing of like asking me to work on it, and me having like a free day where nothing was going on to sit down for. I think I sat for 8 hours and just wrote till my script was done. And then I went back and edited. I did like 4 drafts of it, of course. But I did it all in the same day. And then let it sit for a week, did one more run through and was done. So it was an amazingly short turnaround time. Yep. It was unreal how quick that turnaround was.
I think the one that I would want to do, they would tell me no. Because I would want to do the 1998 unmade sequel.
Oh man, that'd be so fun. I think that'd be a good one for you to do too.
I just like the concept of the Brood a lot, that I love just him having a million little babies. It's something I really love. We went off on another tangent when we tried to end the episode.
We tried to finish an episode and went off on a tangent, and I'm so sorry.
I mean, I'm enjoying this. Okay, so...
I am having a blast, as always. But...
yeah, I still don't know what we're going to do next episode. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants continuously now. Because there's one episode I want to do. I don't know how our best to do it. It's of a historically important event that we would have to watch, but I'm wondering if it would be best to like do a preamble to it, maybe next episode, and then the in-between actually watch it.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe I could start talking about, let me look up the official name of this, because I always use different words that begin with C for it. Okay. So next week we're going to talk about Japanese wrestler Antonio Inoki and set up the Collision in Korea pay-per-view.
Wait a minute. I have some consonant questions. I wasn't even on purpose. I got I said the first word and I was like, God damn it. And I just was like, I've committed myself to this. I have to keep going.
God.
All right. See everybody next time.
See y'all.